And of course, if you don't want to come see the Johnson Jaguar football team play, folks, get on out here at halftime when the band performs, because it's going to be an extra special night. It's their senior night as well. There's no playoffs for them, so they're going to let it all hang out tonight, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I remember that from last year. Yeah, you watch them, you'll remember it for the next time you see them. They did a great job in Huntsville last year.
Captains for the Tigers, all the seniors, but it'll walk out D. Anthony Summerhill, Ben Norwood, Evan Ferguson, Dion Ballou.
Go ahead and shake hands, fellas. All right. All right, fellas, y'all my captains. Y'all help me take care of your players. If somebody gets out of line, I want y'all to take care of it before I have to. All right, if I got a penalty, I'll holler for a captain. You come in, I'll give you options. I usually give you best option first. We'll take our time. We don't have to be in no rush until we get it right. Once you tell me what it is, though, we don't change it. All right? These guys, Johnson's visitors, they get to call it. I'm going to throw it. If I drop it, we'll do it again. What's it going to be? Heads? He said heads. All right, it's a heads. All right, you want to toss. You want to.
Johnson wins the toss. And we'll defer.
So the Tigers will wind up with the football tonight. Brooks deferred last week and was able to hold the Tigers 3 and out on their first possession. So let's see if Deshler can get untracked a little more quickly tonight. Very few folks across the way have made their way from Huntsville on down to Howard Chapel Stadium tonight, and pretty good crowd still filing in here on the home side. But after a packed house last week, Keith, it looks like you could shake them up and not get too many if you fill them in rows to row. But still a pretty good crowd for a Thursday night special.
Yeah, a nice crowd for Thursday night, like you said, and especially after the rain we had today that didn't seem like it was going to let up. A lot of people made their decisions before the sun came out, but a nice crowd here. And like I said, if you're at home and want to see a good Deshler football team, come on down and we'll watch them, because they're exciting and they play tough, hard-nosed football.
All right, Deshler.
Here come the Deshler Tigers. Standing ovation, well-deserved, the Region 8 champions, and Keith can ill afford to, take a night off tonight, because you have to keep that momentum going, because next week it's for all the marbles as Fairview rolls in.
Well, yeah, last year.
Captains for the Tigers, all the seniors, but it'll walk out D. Anthony Summerhill, Ben Norwood, Evan Ferguson, Dion Ballou.
Go ahead and shake hands, fellas. All right. All right, fellas, y'all my captains. Y'all help me take care of your players. If somebody gets out of line, I want y'all to take care of it before I have to. All right, if I got a penalty, I'll holler for a captain. You come in, I'll give you options. I usually give you best option first. We'll take our time. We don't have to be in no rush until we get it right. Once you tell me what it is, though, we don't change it. All right? These guys, Johnson's visitors, they get to call it. I'm going to throw it. If I drop it, we'll do it again. What's it going to be? Heads? He said heads. All right, it's a heads. All right, you want to toss. You want to.
Johnson wins the toss. And we'll defer.
So the Tigers will wind up with the football tonight. Brooks deferred last week and was able to hold the Tigers 3 and out on their first possession. So let's see if Deshler can get untracked a little more quickly tonight. Very few folks across the way have made their way from Huntsville on down to Howard Chapel Stadium tonight, and pretty good crowd still filing in here on the home side. But after a packed house last week, Keith, it looks like you could shake them up and not get too many if you fill them in rows to row. But still a pretty good crowd for a Thursday night special.
Yeah, a nice crowd for Thursday night, like you said, and especially after the rain we had today that didn't seem like it was going to let up. A lot of people made their decisions before the sun came out, but a nice crowd here. And like I said, if you're at home and want to see a good Deshler football team, come on down and we'll watch them, because they're exciting and they play tough, hard-nosed football.
All right, Deshler.
Here come the Deshler Tigers. Standing ovation, well-deserved, the Region 8 champions, and Keith can ill afford to, take a night off tonight, because you have to keep that momentum going, because next week it's for all the marbles as Fairview rolls in.
Well, yeah, so, I know we were fired up last week, but I believe once the lights come on tonight, we'll play good football.
we're going to try to speak of each one of these seniors as the night wears on. And let's start with Matt Blazer, Keith. Matt started as a sophomore, midway through his sophomore year, came on at guard, showed some promise at defensive end as well, then went exclusively at guard last year. And then this year has been called upon on both sides of the football, and just a tremendous senior campaign.
Well, he just shows up every night and plays, and you don't have to worry about what you're going to get out of Matt. You know, every week's the same. He's at pulling guard, you know, on the buck sweep. He's always out there, always throwing his block. And like you said, early on in the year against Russellville, when we were sort of, you know, gelling our defense together, and before Dylan Boston got here,
right,
you know, he was playing a defensive end and just, you know, did his job playing defensive end too, and he just did a great job there. So just an excellent football player.
And he's one of those guys that's just matured as his career has gone. He's matured with it. When he's supposed to have been better as a junior, he was.
Yeah.
When he's supposed to be a leader as a senior, he has been.
That's
so
right.
Kudos to Matt Blazer, and we'll try to talk about all our seniors as the night wears on. Here's a kickoff, high end-over-end kick will send Dion Ballou back to the 7-yard line. He'll bring it upfield at the 20. 25, Dion Ballou, the big hole to 40. Dion Ballou looking for one more block at the 40, at the 30, at the 20, at the 10, 5, touchdown, Dion Ballou. 93 yards on the return to open the game in his final regular season game at Howard Chapel Stadium. He takes it the distance.
Yeah, great run, Jimmy, but what blocking. I mean, coming right up the middle, it just parted. You know, we had about 4 guys, and they did a great job of kicking the Johnson players out. And, of course, when you can run like he does, he don't need much of a hole. Just block for him a little bit.
Literally, folks, at his own 40-yard line, he had 4 blockers in front of him and the safety valve to beat, and it was just which one of them would block the safety valve for him, and I don't know if he needed any of them.
I don't either.
But he got a good block, and he was off to the races. Unbelievable, folks. What a privilege, what a joy it has been to cover that young man. And I'll make a bold statement. You will see him on Saturdays on television quickly. And you'll see him on Saturdays, and you may see him on Sundays for a long, long time to come. He is by far the most versatile athlete that I've seen or covered in my career here calling the ball games in high school.
He's got the one thing you don't have to teach, and that's speed. So as long as he's got that, there's a place, you know, you can find a place for him to play. I believe we talked about that's fourth game in a row now that
either
he's
a punt or a kickoff. And Tim, he on the sidelines during the night and during practices, you would never know he's the star if you just watch him.
Oh, absolutely not. Just unassuming young man. He does his job. You know, no flash to it, you know, other than the brilliance you see out there on the field with 93-yard untouched kick returns.
Man. 7-0 Deshler after the Caleb Henry extra point. Ryan Goodlow, folks, our all-star safety, is out tonight. Has an injury. He's going to sit out this week, and they're going to evaluate it, I think, in his neck area, Keith. So we'll get a report on that hopefully next week, but we really need Ryan back to make that playoff run.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed and say a prayer for Ryan. Hopefully that'll work out, because we know how bad he wants to play, and that's why we want things to get better for him.
They've got him booked at a 14-second 100-yard dash right there, 11:46 to go, but I don't think it quite took that long. Here comes the kickoff by Caleb Henry. Low grounding kick, fielded at the 30-yard line, the 27, and falling on there after the fumble by McCray. And Johnson will take over 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Senior night at Howard Chapel Stadium. D. Anthony Summerhill, I believe, getting the nod for the defensive start. Austin Sullivan coming into the ball game, and timeout.
Jonathan Bates has taken a lick, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's a little dazed.
And he's going to be escorted off the field. I don't think he really knows where he is, folks, Jonathan Bates, and we can surely ill afford to lose him. And that may be a concussion, as he is really hurting. Wishbone formation for Johnson. Pitch out to the right side to the speedy tailback. That's number 1, but he is stopped in the backfield by the Deshler Tigers. and that is Massey on the run. He'll lose about 4 yards, but Bates really dazed. He was actually running to the far side of the field to get off the field. So hopefully it's just a stinger of some type that has him phased. But Goodlow goes down, that's enough. And then Bates on the second kickoff of the night.
Yeah, he's up and moving around, but he's just dazed, as to which he's taking some kind of shot.
2nd and 15, Wishbone at the 23-yard line. Tigers up 7-0 on a penalty play. Tim, we'll let you ease down there and see if you can get us a report on his injury. And, boy, that's the scary thing about football, folks. You just never know. Your team, especially this team, one of the worries was we're not all that deep. And the depth is certainly a factor. And we've been blessed all year going injury-free, and we sure don't need it to go awry here in the last couple of games of the year.
Yeah, like you said, we've been able to build some depth over the course of the year, and several players have stepped up to fill roles. But you don't need to see guys like Ryan Goodlow and Jonathan Bates. We need them in the lineup.
2nd and 10 after the offsides against the Tigers. Wishbone give to the fullback, Chris May there, along with Ilkin Mills to push back the fullback for the Johnson Jaguars. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 now for Johnson. That was Chase Drake on the carry for the Jaguars. We'll call it 3rd and 9 at the Johnson 28-yard line with the Tigers on top 7-0 with a 93-yard kickoff return by Dion Ballou.
Lightning strikes again, and then we hope right on through the playoffs they just keep punting and kicking off to him.
Boy, and that's the truth. 3rd down, long 9 to go. McCray under center. Single receiver out to the right and the left. They'll give on the wing-back reverse, and he'll be stopped for about a 2-yard loss as McCray reversed out from center and then gave it to the wing-back around the right end. And it'll be 4th down and 9 yards to go, give him a 1-yard gain, and Johnson will have to punt it away. And who drops deep? None other than Dion Ballou along with DeAnthony Summerhill.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. Johnson has a couple of scat backs, Jimmy, but just the defense tonight, it looks like first series anyway, they've shown up to play, and there's just no running room at all for Johnson tonight.
9 men on the line for the Tigers. High snap over the punter's head into the end zone, and he's going to try to kick it out of the end zone and does for a safety. So the Tigers will get the safety after the snap on the punt. We're way over the punter's head. Landed a good 10, 12 yards behind him, bounced into the end zone, and he came in and raked it out of the end zone. So
a little shook up on the play. He should be back in shortly for the trainers and such.
Thank the Lord. It was obvious he was shaking up.
Well, yeah.
We can see that.
Yeah, he took a lick, and the only thing I wasn't sure as the game went on, so many times, when somebody's taking some kind of lick to the head, they don't like to let them go back in the game. So that's probably what we'll have to watch. For the people listening, it's not a matter of he's not over here laying down or anything like that. They're all talking
laughing,
to him. Yeah, and Coach Mothershed just left him over there talking to him, and but he obviously took maybe it hit him in the jaw area, which is a whole lot better, like a boxer or something.
So Johnson will kick off from their own 20. It'll be Gardner, Will Minor, Summerhill, and Ballou will be deep. So Gardner stands at about the 45, and then Minor and Summerhill flank him at the 40, and then Dion stands at the 30-yard line. Now, last time Johnson kicked it straight on and kicked it deep inside the 10, but a huge hole opened up for Dion Ballou, and he walked 93 yards. This time a little short, be fielded by Dion Ballou again. Summerhill was there. Now Ballou trying to get down the sideline. He breaks a tackle, and he'll have it out of bounds at his own 40-yard line, the Johnson 40-yard line. So a 22-yard return by Ballou, and Deshler will be in business. 1st and 10 from the Johnson 40, leading 9-0.
Yeah, Jimmy, if there's one hope I can get coming into the playoffs, I just wish we could get a 4-week stretch, 5-week stretch of dry fields on Friday night. I'd like to see our guys be able to use some of the speed that we've got, which I think would be an advantage for us.
And I talked with Coach Mothershed today as we were going in to tape the coaches show, and that same frustration was with him today. He really is ready for a dry field. Pitch back to DeAnthony Summerhill on the toss sweep, and he slips down as he tries to make his cut. He'll have maybe a couple of yards to the 38, and it'll be second down and 8 yards to go for the Deshler Tigers, leading by a score of 9-0 after a kickoff return by Ballou and then a safety.
Yeah, I think we'll try tonight to keep it as simple as we can. You know, the buck sweeps, the toss pitches where we don't have to make cuts, because it's definitely, you can see them slipping every time they try to.
Johnson, a pretty big team. They use a 5-man front, 3 linebackers in there. This time give to Summerhill around the right side. He gets a good block by Zach and Blazer, and he may have enough for the Tiger first down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. A 14-yard gain by Summerhill, and it's 1st and 10 Deshler inside the 25 of Johnson. So 5-man front, 3 linebackers in there, so 8 in the box for the Jaguars wanting to stop the run of Deshler.
Yeah, and so far they haven't been able to do it. DeAnthony so far the workhorse on the first couple of plays, and you know, we remember they like to run him. They ran him at Leighton that night in the mud till he.
Kai Cole split out to the right side. Summerhill in motion, give to Gardner. He's got a little bit of running room for it. He's hit hard at the 20-yard line. He'll have about 4 on the carry, make it second down and 6 now for the Deshler Tigers. And he slipped a little bit as he went to make his cut as well, folks. But Randy Foster, Jason Zach, Micah Cronk, the senior center. Then Matt Blazer, Chris May, Ben Norwood. That's your lineman for the Deshler Tigers. Kai Cole will be split out to the right side. Parker Wright at quarterback, as he's been all year. Ballou in there now at tailback. And they'll give to Dion around the right side. He gets a great block from Zach. Dion Ballou bursting toward the goal line. Can he get in there? They'll mark him out at the 1. Inside the 1, they mark Ballou out of bounds. A 22-yard run for Dion Ballou, but great blocking by Matt Blazer, and then Jason Zach especially had a huge block.
Yeah, big blocking out there, and something we saw our first glimpse of last week against Brooks was Dion in the backfield running some tailback and putting that little bit of speed dimension in there, and awful close. Tough luck for Dion right there. Looked like he kicked the pylon and knocked it over, but they're not going to give it to him.
Now Evan Ferguson in there, J.R. White at fullback. Evan Ferguson at a guard, double tight end set. They'll give to J.R. White over the left side, and he's in for the Deshler touchdown to make it 15-0 straight T formation. And J.R. White goes in from 1 yard out with good blocking, and it's 15-0 Deshler Tigers with 7:47 to go in the first quarter. And I know as a head coach, Keith, a lot of relief right now, because you don't want to be that statistic.
Well, you're right, but you know how much it helps so many games this year when Dion has started off running that opening kickoff, and that relieves a lot of the pressure. And then from there, like you said, Johnson's going to have to get the ball and try to control it some.
Tim, you always worry on a muff on the kick is no good, so 15-0 Tigers. But you always worry as a head coach that when they're going to come out flat, just had the huge win, but with 5 minutes gone in the game, that does not seem to be the case for the Tigers.
Tonight, Jimmy, I believe they're ready, businesslike, ready to play. They're not real excited or anything, but just very.
Yeah, and even they have good leadership, but instead of having like 2 or 3 guys that seem to carry most of the leadership, they've got more like 10, 12 guys
that's right,
that are the leaders. So
21 seniors on the football team.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with it. A lot of times, if your leader happens to be one that kind of jumps around and bounces around, you follow him. But if your leaders are all sort of, even keeled like these guys are, now don't get me wrong, these guys, they're intense now. They'll get after you, but they don't do a whole lot of jumping up and down and celebrating.
And if you're worried about the future with 21 seniors, don't be too worried. We got a good class behind them. That junior class is solid. And then the 7th, 8th grade especially, just loaded with talent. So grow those guys up. We've got Caleb Henry with the kickoff. He'll have it at the 10 to McCray. He's going to bring it upfield at the 20, 25-yard line. He's got a hole, and now the speed kicks in, and Caleb Henry there to hang on and make the tackle at the 45-yard line. Great touchdown-saving tackle by the kicker, Caleb Henry. He held on for dear life till finally Jaquay Garner and Will Miner got there to help him wrestle the receiver down for Johnson. That's Mason Rice on the return, and Johnson be in good field position, 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, good return by Johnson and a lot of speed in his own right there from Mason Rice.
Man.
Yeah, he's awful fast.
1st and 10 now. Pro set, shotgun formation, twin receivers to either side for the Jaguars. And they'll give to the tailback around the left end, Evan Ferguson, pushing him outside. And finally, Dion Ballou there to knock him down for a 1-yard loss back to the 45, make it 2nd and 11. Good stretching out of the field by the Deshler defense.
Yeah, Cornelius Sublett with the run, but he's running too much too much east west, not north and south. He's got to turn it up a little bit because he ran about 15 yards that time, but he looks like he lost a half a yard.
15-0. Tigers on top behind a 93-yard kickoff return by Ballou, a safety on a bad snap on a punt, and then a 40-yard touchdown drive. Shotgun again for McCray. Twin receivers to either side for the Jaguars. He'll fake it this time, rolling out. Huge rush by Ferguson. He'll just throw it away. McCray wisely just gets rid of it under a huge rush by senior defensive end Evan Ferguson, and it'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 11 yards to go for the Jaguars, dressed in their bright yellow uniforms with the blue trim, blue numbers, then the yellow pants with the blue stitching down either side, and then the solid yellow helmets. And then the band is in their home blue, navy blue, royal blue uniforms, and we look forward to them at halftime. 3rd down and 11 now. 4-man front for Deshler's Blazer, Mills, May, and Evan Ferguson. 3 linebackers in there. Is McCray going to take it around right in on the option? He'll pitch it back, and not much doing, maybe a couple of yards by the tailback Sublett, and it'll be 4th down and 8 now for the Johnson Jaguars. Ball at their own 48-yard line with 6:20 left in the first period, with Deshler on top 15-0. Jimmy Gardner along with Keith coach Tim Ballantyne. Glad you're with us. Next Friday night, Keith, Fairview rolls into town.
Yeah, that'll be an exciting game, and hope to see everybody come out and start a playoff run, and hopefully be the first of 5, right?
Oh, man,
all the way. So, and this year, state championship being played in Tuscaloosa. Yep. Is that not right?
Bryant Denny Stadium, then next year on the Plains.
Right. So switch this year.
4th and 8. They're going to go for it from their own 48. And he's got it in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Actually had the 1st down on the slant pattern at the Tiger 42-yard line, but could not hold on. And so the Jaguars will turn it over to the Deshler Tigers, and Deshler will have it 1st and 10 inside Johnson territory once again at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, nice throw that time on just a simple slant. Did a good job, and actually hit him in the hands, but he just couldn't hold on to it. Would have had the 1st down, but Deshler will take over at their own 49.
1st and 10 Tigers. May and Blazer on the right side. Crunk the center. Miner comes in motion. Long snap count. Wright going to roll out looking to throw. He's got a man open, and it's DeAnthony Summerhill, and just misfired there. A little bit behind him, and when Summerhill went to plant, folks, he just feet kept going, and his body tried to go back, but couldn't.
Don't want to harp on it, but this is going to be one of those nights. It's hard for the backs or the receivers to help a quarterback out if it's a little behind or a little short, because they just don't have their footing. So it wasn't a bad pass, like you said, just on his back shoulder, and when he went to turn around, his feet just
went. One I think you'll see us go back to, he was wide open.
Because of the field condition.
2nd and 10 now. Give to Summerhill around the right end, looking for running room. He's got it. DeAnthony Summerhill a push ahead inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. 11 on the carry. Good for the Deshler Tiger 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10, Deshler at their Johnson 37. Again, great blocking around the right end by those pulling guards.
Yeah, just leading the way. 3 guys leading around. DeAnthony doing a good job of setting up his blocks, being patient till something opened up, and then stretched it out and getting just enough for the first down.
1st and 10, Crunk. Then Zach, Foster, Norwood on the right, Blazer, May on the left, Austin Sullivan split to the left side. They'll give to Summerhill over the right side, and he'll push forward inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. A gain of about 4, make it 2nd down and 6. Deshler Tigers from inside the Jaguar 35-yard line, leading 15-0 is Deshler.
And as we said, and keeping it simple, they even like the pass we threw a minute ago. It was just a down and out, a little rollout by Parker, and everything else is pretty simple. Not a lot of, motion plays or running side to side.
Sullivan will split to the short side of the field this time. Gardner and Summerhill, then Minor, your wing back. He'll come in motion to the right side. Long snap count by Parker Wright. He'll give to Summerhill around the right side once again. The workhorse tonight, DeAnthony Summerhill taking inside the 30 to near the 27-yard line and close to another Tiger first down. So Summerhill already with his 6th carry of the night, and it'll be close for the Tigers, and I believe they'll measure. And we'll take a quick timeout. With timeout on the field, the Tigers 15, the Jaguars nothing. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog. Back after this 30-second timeout. Welcome back. They're marking it just a little short, and Archie Smith of the Chain Gang, the number 1 guys, I had to run all the way across the field to the Deshler sideline. He was giving them a second look like, are you sure about that, Mr. Official? Now, you got to love that. So David Fleming, Archie Smith, we appreciate you guys. 3rd down and less than a yard to go for the Tigers at the 27. Deshler up 15-0 over the visiting Johnson Jaguars. Long time in the huddle is Deshler, as they've not set it ready for play. Now he winds the clock at 4:25 to go. Crunk, Blazer, May, and then Zach, Foster, Norwood, Austin Sullivan split to the near side of the field on 3rd down, less than a yard. Right will give it over to Jay Gardner, and he'll keep his feet turning to the 25. So a couple of tough yards for the junior fullback, and that'll move the chains for the Deshler Tigers. 1st and 10 at the Johnson 25-yard line.
Yeah, one thing I always like about the belly play, Jimmy, is, you got to run the belly play to keep them honest, And then usually if you run it enough over the years, and history says in a minute you're going to look up and that fullback's going to be streaking down the field in a foot race. And that's happened a lot this year, as I think last week Jay Gardner ran for over 120 yards. So we'll look for that as the game wears on.
1st and 10, Minor in motion. A penalty play. Wright going to roll out looking now. He'll dump it off. Complete to Gardner, but he's out of bounds. Just ran out of room to the short side of the field, but it's coming back anyway, as I believe the wing back a little anxious to get out of there. It'll be 1st and 15 Deshler after the illegal procedure call. And let's jump ahead to next Friday night. Now, we're going to talk about what looms on out there, but Coach Mothershed, we can do that from the broadcast booth. Coach Mothershed doesn't like it when you look at past one game, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
Okay.
But Fairview, they finished number 4 in Region 7. However, they beat both of the top 2 teams. So they beat Gunnersville and also beat Plainview. But they lost to some teams that they shouldn't have lost to. So they're
the biggest thing that tells you is they can get up and play, or if you turn it over against them or let them stay in the game, they can beat you, bottom line. 1st
and 15, quick pitch to Summerhill around the right side. He's getting good blocking, but his feet leave him as he tries to make his cut inside the 25. He'll get the illegal procedure yards back, plus about 1, make it 2nd down and 9, just inside the 25-yard line with the Tigers on top, 15-0 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first.
Yeah, but that's something, as we were talking a minute ago, you can use that and better get the boys' attention.
Yeah.
Because if you don't think, and, we mention this a lot, but I always go back to Boaz, 2
years ago, most of these guys were on that team, so they don't have to look back very far to what a number 4 team can do to you at home. Overtime win. This time give to Summerhill around the left side. He's looking for running room, tries to cut back. Still on his feet is DeAnthony, and he'll have about an extra 2 or 3 yards just on sheer effort alone. and it'll be 3rd down and about 5 to go for the Deshler Tigers. Ball at the 19-yard line. We'll call it 3rd and 4.
Yeah, just excellent effort there by DeAnthony, just refusing to go down. You know, he was slipping, he was sliding, they were pulling on him. He put his hand down, caught himself, got an extra couple yards here, making it about a 3rd and 4?
3rd and 4 to 19. 2:20 left in the first quarter with Deshler on top, 15-0. A 93-yard Dion Ballou kick return to open the contest, a 40-yard drive, and then a snap over the punter's head for Johnson for a safety. This time give to Miner around the left side. Will Miner's got a big hole to 10, at the 5, down to the 3-yard line goes a hard charging Will Miner, but behind another great block by that offensive line, and it'll be 1st and goal at the 3 as Dylan Boston, Evan Ferguson, and J.R. White. Well, wait, now they call White back. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, and here comes J.R. White out on the field, so it'll be a full house backfield and 2 tight ends for Deshler as they have it 1st and goal after a 17-yard run by the sophomore Will Miner.
Showing excellent speed on that play, Jimmy.
Right under center. He'll give to Summerhill around the left side. Cuts off a block by Evan Ferguson. Is pushed back at the 1. It looked like, Keith, the hole opened up and he had it. But here comes an inside linebacker that says, not so fast, my fine friend. And he'll push him back at the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, big hit. Just stopped him in his tracks. I was like you. I thought I saw the opening that he was going to be able to squeeze through. But the guy hit him, and not being able to plant your feet in this mud and really push his way in.
So here we go. White at the fullback, Gardner and Summerhill. They'll give to Summerhill once again, and yes, Tiger touchdown. DeAnthony Summerhill, the senior on senior night, has a touchdown for the Deshler Tigers, and it's 21-0 Deshler with 1 minute to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, nice. Another good drive, just a methodical drive by Deshler, just going right down the field and just taking care of business. We'll say doing an excellent job, Jimmy, as many times as we've handled the ball. A lot of times we don't give Parker Wright enough credit just for, managing the game, and we haven't had any bobble snaps, knock on wood, and good exchanges, and on a pretty wet field. But like we said, I guess we ought to be used to it after about 8 out of 10 weeks.
Here comes the extra point attempt. Good snap. Morris has it down. Caleb Henry gets a good plant this time, has it up and good. And a 10-play, 49-yard drive, all on the ground. Had one pass attempt that was incomplete, taking 5 minutes off the clock, and Deshler has stretched its first quarter lead to 22-0. You're listening to Tiger football on the Big Dog, back after this 32nd timeout.
Athlete. Now let's get back to the game. It's Deshler Tiger football with Jimmy Gardner on Rock 105.5, the Big Dog.
Jimmy Gardner along with Keith Coates, Tim Ballantyne. Glad you're with us on this Thursday night special senior night from Howard Chapel Stadium. And we want to thank all our sponsors, folks. Without them, we could not be on the air this year. And you just heard from one of the best, Mr. Larry Green at 335-3577. If you're having trouble selling your home or land in the Shoals area in this recession, call Larry Green at 335-3577. If you're looking for one, call Larry as well. Low end-over-end kick, bouncing now, and fielded at the 15-yard line by Johnson. He'll pick it up and runs through 2, 3, 4 would-be Tiger tacklers, and out to the 38-yard line on a penalty play is the Jamel Akins for the Johnson Jaguars, as he was tackled by Micah Crunk and Dylan Boston. But I believe it may come back.
Jimmy, I don't know if you noticed, but he went to field the ball and he slipped down, but he knew if he reached over and picked the ball up before he stood up, he'd be down. So he stood up and then reached over and picked the ball up.
Pretty smart.
Pretty smart play there.
Holding against Johnson. 22-0, Tigers on top. And folks, want to tell you about a benefit coming up for a good friend of mine, Mr. Greg Jones. He's a graduate of Deshler High School in 1980, Gulf War, Desert Storm veteran, was a parachute rigger attached to the 104th Airborne Division, been diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, and has been an outpatient at Vanderbilt, now has a chance to go to MD Anderson, and they're having a benefit concert on November the 7th at the Underwood Petersville Community Center from 5 to 10, dinner by Whole Hog Express. And we're going to tell you some more about it right after this play. Trip receivers to the right, shotgun formation for McCray. He's going to run the option, looking to run back to the middle, and Chris May is there to meet McCray for a 2-yard loss back to the 25-yard line. A good job, Chris May, the senior defensive end. But the last day for tickets is Sunday, November the 1st. Plates are $8. There'll be live music, a silent auction, and a bake sale. And the most important thing, here's how you get your tickets. Call Donnie Strait or Teresa Strait, 856-2423. 856-2423, the number to call for the benefit Greg Jones. He needs our help, folks, and let's answer the bell to help Greg Jones in his fight against cancer. McCray looking to throw it, got a man on the out route near the Tiger sideline. Austin Sullivan there to tackle him after a 6-yard gain to the 31 with the last play of the first quarter. 22-0, Tigers on top. And also, if you want to give to this fund for Greg, Keith, go by any Lister Hill Credit Union. A trust fund has been set up in his name. Greg Jones, a Deshler High alum, 1980. And all donations, I guarantee you, will be greatly appreciated. Also, put him on your prayer list, folks. He goes to Texas on Monday, November the 2nd. End of first quarter, it's Deshler 22, Johnson nothing. We'll be back with more Tiger football right after this 60-second timeout. Welcome back to Howard Chapel Stadium, 22-0. At the end of one quarter of play, the Tigers all over the visiting Johnson Jaguars. 3rd down, 6 for Johnson at their own 32-yard line. 5-man front for the Tigers looking to blitz. Dylan Boston in there middle. Here he comes, J.R. White from the outside, and they get it to the tailback. Sullivan there, but can't hold on, and pushing forward out over the 40 to the 42 and running through a couple of Tigers is the tailback Cornelius Sublett, and just there's that athletic ability, Keith, why Coach John Mothershed wants to play a team such as Johnson for those athletes.
Yeah, nice play that time, just a swing pass, just trying to get your good back out in a one-on-one situation, and Sullivan did a good job hitting him, but he hit him up high, and he just, the back was strong enough, big enough, he pushed through and got a first down out about the 41-yard line.
And we have not seen Jonathan Bates back in the game for the Deshler Tigers, so I think probably precautionary measure to keep him on out and get him ready for Fairview next Friday night. 1st and 10, Johnson. They're going to look to throw it, quick hitch out, and it's complete again. Out to the right side, J.D. Williams hustling out from his outside linebacker spot to make the tackle at the 45, a gain of about 4 for the Jaguars. So putting together a little bit of a drive here is Johnson trailing by 22. It's May, Ferguson, Rashad Thompson, Matt Blazer, then J.R. White, Dylan Boston, J.D. Williams, and then Sullivan, Ballou, Morris, and Summerhill. A good crowd has filed on in to Howard Chapel Stadium, folks. Not the student fired-up crowd that we had last Friday night, as they'll give to Sublett and Rashad Thompson, Evan Ferguson there to make the stop. Ferguson had him low, and then Thompson comes up and makes the stop high. He'll have a couple of yards out to the 47, make it 3rd down, and 3 yards to go now for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I've been watching Jimmy the last couple of minutes, and Jonathan Bates has been up here politicking with Coach Smith and Coach Brianni Rutland trying to get in the game, and saw Coach Smith looking at him pointing at the scoreboard, and I'm sure he was just telling him, Jonathan, you took a big hit, and we're up 22-0. So Jonathan's gone over and sat back down on the bench.
And he's sitting by, as William would say, Tim, by his long bone down there on the bench, dejected.
From what I can gather, Jonathan has been cleared to play by the medical staff, but I think the coach is just in precautionary measure. The way the game's gone so far, probably going to keep him out. Ryan Goodlow is going to see a specialist on Monday. Possibility he could be lost for the year, but they're not real favorable about what's going to happen on Monday after he sees a specialist.
3rd down and 3 for the Johnson Jaguars. They call timeout. 10:21 to go, but we talk about this senior group, Keith. Let's talk about the younger ones coming forward. Justin Cantrell has certainly showed promise all year as a freshman quarterback. Looking like he may be able to step in there and fill the role, possibly a 3-year starter for the Deshler Tigers, the way it looks anyway at the present. And then you've got Will Minor, just a sophomore running back. You have Gardner back there. And we'll get to some more of the linemen right after this. 3rd and 3 in a shotgun. McCray going to have it out complete on a quick hitter and a big hole for number 14 for Johnson. And it's a foot race down to 30, the 20. Dion Ballou is there at the 5. And they mark him down at the 1-yard line. That was Mason Rice showing some great speed for the Johnson Jaguars. Takes it 52 yards down to the 1-yard line before Dion Ballou's speed caught him. And it'll be 1st and goal. And now Ballou comes up hurt. He is holding his shoulder, folks, at the far side of the field, walking across, and his right arm looks just hanging to his side. He is definitely hurt on the right side. And he's going to walk on off with Ricky Bryant. My, oh, my. Well, that's scary.
Just a little swing pass that time. And we commented on Rice just a minute ago how fast he was on the kickoff.
Yeah.
And he made a cut back. We had a couple of guys actually in position to make the tackle, but they slipped, and then he just showed excellent speed before we pushed him down about the 1-yard line.
Well, so far 2 starters have made their way to the sideline for the Tigers. It's Ballou joining Bates now. As from the 1 yard out, Johnson will take it in for the touchdown over the left side on second effort. That's Sublett in with the score for the Jaguars to make it 22-6. And we'll try to get us a report on Dion Ballou, but he's sitting right beside Jonathan Bates. So if you count Goodlow, that's 3 defensive backs now out of the game tonight for the Deshler Tigers.
Well, yeah, and then Jackson usually has been playing a lot too.
He's sitting out.
Yeah,
tonight.
he's on the bench and dressed, but so far hasn't been in there. So,
man, oh man, that's how quickly it can get away from you. 9:53. The extra point is up and good, and your score is 22-7. Tigers over the Jaguars, but some concerned Deshler fans as they look to Dr. Mark McElwain and Ricky Bryant on the Deshler sideline, tending to 2 starters tonight, Jonathan Bates and now Dion Ballou. And we'll be back with more Tiger football right after this 30-second timeout. Welcome back to Howard Chapel Stadium as they place some ice on Dion Ballou's neck. Talk to us, Tim.
Dr. McElwain thinks it's just a little muscle strain or something in his neck. He's icing it down at this time.
Man, oh man. Here we go, folks. Kicking off for the Jaguars. This time on the ground, scooting along and fumbled by Will Minor. He'll pick it up at the 19-yard line. Looking for some running room is Minor, and he's got it at the 35. Will Minor breaks free at midfield. Will Minor at the 40. Minor at the 35. Down the left sideline goes Minor, shucking Johnson as he goes all the way down to the 10-yard line where he steps out of bounds. But the sophomore, Will Minor, says, Dion, don't stay on the bench too long, young man. I may take your spot. And Will Minor with a 90-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, what a great run and a great vision that time. He saw a hole to his left, and we could see it up here, but we can always see the holes. It's a whole lot harder when you're down there running. But he set them up and kind of angled in and then cut back out.
And then he shucked
Unbelievable speed down
Came
the side
across his shoulders at the 20, and he just shucked them off of him, folks. But 70 yards on the return, not 90, down to the 10. So Micah Crunk, Matt Blazer, Chris May on a penalty play. I believe it's going to be illegal participation against the Jaguars. And then you got Norwood, Foster, and Zach on the right side. Kai Cole split out to the left, and Deshler's going to have a 1st and 5 or 1st and 7.5 inside the 10-yard line. Tigers on top, 22-7. But many of the eyes at Howard Chapel Stadium are on the star, Dion Ballou, being iced down on the bench by Dr. Mark McElwain. Alongside him sits Jonathan Bates, Ryan Goodlow, and Charles Jackson. None of those 4 seeing playing time probably for the rest of the night. And they will mark the full 5 off against Johnson. So it'll be 1st and 5 at the 5. They can actually get a 1st down, Keith, with the nose of the football at about the 1-inch line. So Gardner, Summerhill, Minor in there for Deshler. Parker Wright, your quarterback. He'll give to DeAnthony, who Gives it back to Will Minor. He fumbles it. Johnson picks it up, and they're gone. Can anybody catch him at midfield? Summerhill giving chase at the 30. At the 20, Summerhill closing. Can Sublett get there? He does. Sublett with a 90-yard fumble return for the Johnson Jaguars, and then an unsportsmanlike penalty against Deshler as we tackled him on into the end zone. I think a frustration there as Summerhill had given 90 yards worth of chase, folks. And now we've got ourselves a ball game. How quickly it can turn. 22-7, everything in control, and now, just as they did against Muscle Shoals, I think a 100-yard fumble return for a touchdown Johnson had, and now they take it 90 against the Deshler Tigers.
Well, we were just running the little inside reverse where he hands it and hands it back to the wingback, and just the missed exchange somewhere. It was hard to tell from here.
He got it to the tailback, and it was between the tailback and the wingback.
But the tailback is running so fast that once the ball was left there, it was just sitting there, and everybody from Deshler was blocking, so he picked it up and had a clear field.
And Minor was going to be the recipient, as the extra point is no good off to the left. But Tim Minor was to be the recipient of the inside reverse, and maybe the excitement of just having made the kickoff return, maybe a little winded, but anyway, concentration was not there.
I don't think he ever had possession of it at all. I'm not sure whose fault it was, but wasn't a good exchange on either part from my view down there, pretty close.
So 22-13, Tigers on top with 9:17 to go in the first half.
How quickly things can change sometimes. You know, you're sitting.
We'll get the 15-yard mark off against Deshler on the kickoff.
So Jimmy, you know what you got to watch for here.
Onside kick.
Yeah, possibility of onside kick, because even if they don't get it, it's most likely that we would recover at about our own 30. No reason just to kick it out of the end zone or kick it in the end zone, and because then we'd still get it back on the 20.
Now, due to attrition, Gardner, the deep man, along with Summerhill on the kick. And let's see if Johnson will elect that. We've got Boston, Stephen Abels, Matt Blazer, Micah Crunk, Jason Zack. That's your front five. And then you've got Ben Floyd, Norwood, J.R. White, and then Minor, Gardner, and Summerhill deep. And it is a low kick, fumbled by the Tigers, and it'll go into the end zone and picked up now at the 1-yard line. So down at the 1 as Summerhill stumbled and fell. He was in the end zone, but the ball was at the 1, and he went to his bottom, folks, as his feet flew out from under him, and the Tigers are backed up at their own 1-yard line. My, oh, my.
You know, that's the advantage of, that they had after the personal foul. They kicked a squib kick on a muddy night, and as he went to pick it up, like you said, feet just flew out from under him. The ball's sitting there. He's got to recover it. And so
here we go, backed up at our own 1. Summerhill out right now, and they'll give to J.R. White, who pushes a pile out near the 5-yard line, maybe the 6, so a good push by White coming. He's actually at tailback this time. It's 2nd down and 6 now for Deshler. Boston in there as well as Norwood. So it looks like a 2 tight end set for the Tigers, trying to get this first down, get some breathing room. 22-13, what looked like it's going to be a blowout. And now Gardner and Minor split way out to the right. And they'll give to White, who is the lone setback, and he'll have maybe a couple to the 7. And so a big 3rd down comes up now for Coach Jared Helms' offense as Summerhill checks back in the ball game for J.R. White. It's 3rd down. We'll call it 4 to go at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, we need to pick up this first down right here and get it on away from our. You don't want to punt, and have something happen, down in your own end zone. So we need to bang this first down out right here.
Will Minor was split way out to the right. It's Gardner. Now he goes out to the left side. So lone setback is Summerhill. And Wright's going to pitch it to Summerhill around the right side. And can he get the first down? No. He stopped inside the 10, maybe the 8-yard line, so a gain of 1 on the play to Summerhill. And Deshler will have to punt it away. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, and you can just see the emotion on the Johnson side just totally changed, from a team that, hate to say it, was about ready to pack it in.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden now they're running all over the place.
Coaches running all over the place, hitting folks on the helmet.
Back in this game.
They're getting fired up. This is our last game of the year, but boy, what if we walked out of here with a win?
That's right.
And now they're starting to think it may be reality. Dylan Boston will stand 3 yards deep in his own end zone, punt it away with the Tigers up 22-13, low snap, but he gets away a good punt way out of there, takes a Tiger roll into Johnson territory down to the 47-yard line. Great punt. Dylan Boston, no return. And the Jaguars, although still have good field position at their own, mark it at the 48.
45-yard
good 45-yard kick by the junior Dylan Boston.
Yeah, and he boomed it out there. One thing I like about Dylan is he may not always kick the longest kick, but he's going to get it out of there. If he gets his hand on it, he one step, he kicks it, and if he really hits it, like you said, he averages about 45 yards. But even if he don't, he always gets off at least a 35, 40 yard and gets it off quick.
Jonathan Bates back in the game, folks, so that's good to see. Johnny Bates back in the ball game for Deshler. 1st and 10 shotgun, and now the quarterback, Jamel Akins, they had changed for the run on this shotgun. He slips down in the backfield back at the 44-yard line, so he'll lose 4 yards. So field conditions certainly playing a role in this ball game.
Yeah, he just slipped that time trying to make a move, and now they put themselves back in their own territory, back to about their 44-yard line, 43.5-yard line, giving them a long 2nd and 15.
So a little adversity here, folks, for the Deshler Tigers. Let's see how this team responds throughout the rest of the evening. They lead 22-13 after being on top 22-0 at the end of 1. Shotgun formation on a penalty play. It'll be an illegal procedure, I believe, against the Johnson Jaguars, and that may back them up 5 more yards. And it'll be 2nd down, 19 to go now for Johnson.
Yeah, so right now Deshler's defense, a little wake-up call right here. They want to make a stand and turn it around and make them punt to us deep. So we've got Johnson going the wrong way right now for them.
Yeah. Inside the 40, back to the 39. So 2nd, 19 to go. 6 minutes to go until the halftime. 22-13, Tigers on top. Fairview Aggies next Friday night from Howard Chapel. Shotgun with twin receivers to the right, single receiver to the left. McCray going to roll out. Big rush by May. He gets away from him. Now going to launch it deep and overthrows everyone as his receiver had slipped down, and only Austin Sullivan and Jonathan Bates remained to try to catch the football, but it was over their heads as well, and it'll be 3rd down and 19 now for the Johnson.
Yeah, Deshler doing a good job not letting their receivers get behind them, because quarterback McCray has a super strong arm. If he can, and that time he slipped out of the grasp of May and had a back coming running a throwback pattern, but Austin Sullivan and Jonathan Bates doing a good job of not letting anybody behind them.
Timeout. Johnson Jaguars gives us a chance to say hello to all the guys up at Browns Ferry tonight who listen each and every week to Tiger football here on the Big Dog. Rod Gunn and his buddies, the Nix boys. We appreciate them listening each and every Friday night. That's Rodney Nix and Tommy Nix as well, along with some others up there at Browns Ferry. But Josh Hand gave me their name today, Keith, and they're big Tiger fans. Of course, Rod, a great quarterback, came through Deshler in the early 90s.
First of 3 of them at quarterback, Chris and Dwayne, all 3. And, yeah, it makes that shift of work go by a little faster. You got something to listen to.
Especially on a Thursday night special. You got a surprise, day early. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog.
Hey, Tiger fans, we've been practicing at our dealership since 1983. So when you're looking for your next vehicle purchase or automotive service, we're inviting you to choose the winning team at Jim Bishop Chevrolet, Buick, Pontiac, and GMC on Highway 43 South at Tuscany. And go Tigers!
That's enough commercials for now. Let's get back to the game. It's Deshler Tiger Football with Jimmy Gardner on Rock 105.5, the Big Dog.
3rd and 19 for Johnson from their own 39-yard line. McCray takes the snap, backpedal, setting up a screen, complete to Sublett. He's got running room down the far side, and Sublett will take it for the Johnson 1st down as everyone had bailed out for Deshler. And a great call by the Johnson coaching staff has the Deshler defense on its heels and it'll be 1st and 10 Jaguars way down at the 33-yard line of the Deshler Tigers. So don't go anywhere tonight, folks. Johnson's here to stay. 22-13, they trail, but they're on the move again. 1st and 10, McCray going to have it out to Mason. He's going to take it for about 6 to the 25-yard line. Just that raise up, throw it to my wide receiver, and he's a better athlete than you are, and he runs 7 yards before being chased out of bounds by Blazer and J.R. White and the Tiger defense with their hands on their hips, folks, for maybe the first time all year.
Yeah, just amazing the difference in the momentum swing right here. And now all of a sudden looks like their play caller's in a rhythm, just seems like everything he's calling's working. And right there at the first of the game seemed like we had 15 guys on the field to theirs, every time they tried to run a play. And now all of a sudden seems like everything they're calling's working.
Now, official trying to get the clock operator to stop the clock. They had run it down to 5:03. I think he's going to want some time back on the clock. 5:25 is what they want on the clock. They have 5:03 currently. 22-13, Deshler. Dion Ballou ran a 93-yard kickoff return back for the opening touchdown of the game, and it looked like it was going to be all Tigers, but as Will Miner had run the kickoff back to the 10, then Cornelius Sublett for Johnson picks up a fumble on the next play, first play from scrimmage after that, runs it 90-plus yards for a touchdown, and Johnson back in this ball game big time, and they're on the move again. 2nd down, we'll call it 2 yards to go at the Deshler 25-yard line. And this is exactly the kind of team, Keith, you let them hang around, they start thinking they can win, and then they can't.
That's right. Yeah, they just stay in the game, and if they punched one in right here, they're within one or two points.
So trip receivers to the right. They have the clock set back to 5:25 to go in the second quarter. Man coverage out here for the Tigers. Bates back in there, so that's good to see. McCray on the pitch. He pitches it. It's fumbled. Sublett can't come up with it. There's a scramble for the football, and I believe Johnson will fall on it way back at the 39-yard line. So a bad pitch by McCray, and then Sublett couldn't corral it. And finally, Jamel Akins gets it just in front of the Deshler bench at the 38-yard line. A huge loss on the play of 15 yards, and it'll be 17 yards, 3rd and 15 now for Johnson.
Yeah, really big play right there as they were marching on down deep into our territory, and brings up a long 3rd and 15. And on the pitch, we were trying to get on the ball, but it just kept squirting loose, and finally they were able to get back on it.
A 13-yard loss. 13-yard loss makes it 3rd and 15. Shotgun formation, twin receivers to either side. McCray with plenty of time to throw the football. A man wide open in the middle of the field at the 20, at the 10, 5, touchdown. Johnson Jaguars, as number 14, there he is again, Mason Rice, across the middle of the field on the post pattern, was wide open, so a blown coverage by the Tigers, and it's 22-19 Deshler.
Yeah, just a little post pattern, 38-yard touchdown pass from McCray to Mason Rice, and then he's hard to cover. He's fast. You're going to have to get up and press him. They really had 2 guys open right down the middle of the field that time.
So you've got Goodlow, Ballou on the bench. Jonathan Bates just back into the ball game as they're going to fake it and go for 2 now, and McCray has it complete and good on the 2-point conversion. McCray got up from his holder's position, and number 25, Chase Drake, ran a little down and out and made a great catch on a low throw from McCray, and it is 22-21, folks, with 4:22 to go in the first half. And the Johnson band, the few Johnson faithful, all 18 of them that have made it, are up and making noise on the far sideline.
I'm going to tell you something else that did right there. That took the ice off Dion Blue's neck, so he's in the huddle here. He'll be deep right here. That I think everybody's fixing to get a little sense of urgency right here.
You had Bates back in the game, who'd been knocked out on the kickoff.
But Dion's usually our safety, though.
Right, that's what I was going to say. And then Ballou and Goodlow's already out.
Yeah.
So that's 3 defensive starters that were out of the game.
Yeah.
So
Dion usually, we take him for granted, roaming the center of that field. kind of controlling it. But I'd been watching him, and I was going to say in a minute that, again, it's not like he's been hunkered down on the bench. He's been roaming around, had some ice on the back of his neck, more like maybe a muscle, or a crick or something. But he's going to be deep.
He's back
right
out
here.
there tonight, right now. So Ballou deep, and then Summerhill minor, and then Gardner will stand at about the 25-yard line. 22-21. What a comeback by the Johnson Jaguars, folks. They're 2-7 on the season, but this is that athletic ability and an athletic team that was scheduled in the 10th game to get the Tigers ready for the playoffs, and they certainly are, as they'll kick it deep. Ballou will have it at the 12-yard line. Dion Ballou at the 20, to 25, making a move at the 40. Dion Ballou at midfield and wrestled down there, and it'll be 1st and 10, so a good 40-yard return by Ballou has the Tigers in excellent field position. 1st and 10 is Jonathan Bates in the ball game at wide receiver now. And so good to see both those guys back out there, but at the same time, Keith, kind of scary. This game really, it means something, but it doesn't.
That's a good point. But he's just a half a step away that time from breaking. A guy got a double fistful of his jersey and just held on for dear life till one other guy got there.
Gardner, Summerhill, Bates in there at wing back, Ballou at wide receiver. Right under center, he'll give to Summerhill around the right side. D'Anthony cuts it back. He's got some running room. 5 yards for Summerhill to the Johnson 45-yard line, and 4:02 to go in the first half. Deshler by a point and trying to drive for some more as J.R. White checks into the ball game now for Summerhill.
Hopefully, Jimmy, as we're talking a little bit later, this is going to be something that's just what the doctor ordered. Right here, got our attention. We was kind of starting to slog around a little bit, and just get our attention, and we don't have to hurry. We're here. There's 3 minutes and 40 seconds, but we got time to go down, plenty of time.
So J.R. White, now Gardner and Ballou split out to the left side. White, he'll get it from the fullback spot. He'll have a first down. J.R. White inside the 40 to the 35-yard line, so a brand new look for Coach Jared Helms' offense. A single setback back there, J.R. White, and then Gardner and Minor split way out.
That's one of the things that you're talking about right there in a game leading up to a playoff game, to show them something else, to make them work on it this week in practice. If it takes them 15 or 20 minutes to work on that, that's something else they got to think about.
1st and 10 at the 35 for the Tigers. Gardner at a wing back now. White at the tailback, or at the fullback. Gardner in motion. They'll give to him around the right side. He'll turn it upfield, breaks the tackle, breaks another one. Still on his feet. Jay Gardner running down the middle of the field, hit down at the 15-yard line on a penalty play, late flag after the play. Great run by the fullback. He had 20 yards on the carry down to the 15. How'd he break those tackles?
Yeah, that was a great run. I think they're going to call, I don't know if they do this in high school. It looked like he led with his head and hit Jay straight on in the helmet.
Personal foul, you're right.
Head to head, yeah.
So that'll tack on 15 more. So
just a great run right there, though. He just, he was just letting them throw him around like we say, and then moving over and then starting. And then we thought there for just a minute he had broke into the open, and he's usually able to hold his own and then outrun them.
Came over,
But a great hard-nosed run right there.
Tim, good blocking and good running there. And did you see the penalty call?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a helmet. Had to be a helmet on helmet. I saw it when it happened. I just wasn't sure he was going to come in and throw the flag, but they did. I think it's a very good call. But excellent run. Excellent run, good blocking.
Moves it down to the 8. So Gardner at tailback now. White at fullback. He'll give to Gardner around the left side. Jay turns it upfield, dragging him with him to the 1-yard line. Good, tough run again. And a 7-yard gain. Got a good block from J.R. White that time. And Gardner will have it down to the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal. And the Tigers on top by 1 point, folks. Ballou checks into the game as well for Deshler. Let's see what quarterback Parker Wright has under his sleeve here, as it'll be a full house backfield with Gardner, White, and Ballou. Gardner and Ballou will stand to the right and left of White. They'll give to J.R. White over the right side, and he's in for the Deshler touchdown. Yes, his second 1-yard plunge of the night. And the Tigers extend their lead to 28-21.
Good drive right there. Just took the ball. We didn't panic, didn't come out and start chunking up, bomb passes or anything like that. Just ran our offense. A couple of great runs there by Jay Gardner, and just methodically took it down the field, and Now let's see if we can get our defense woke back up and go out there and stop.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Now, Johnson will get the ball to begin the second half. Caleb Henry with an important, very important extra point coming up here. Chris May will snap it. Good snap. Morris has it down. It's a high kick, and it's off to the right. Off to the right. And I think his footing gave way once again. So the Tigers up by 7. Second missed extra point of the night for Deshler. One was blocked, I believe. And then the safety that Johnson had, that gave us the extra 2 points back. So Deshler leads by a touchdown, 28-21 over the visiting Jaguars with 2:09 to go in the first half. And Tim, at the end of one, it was 22-0, and the Johnson Jaguars come storming back.
Yeah, they came roaring back on us. They've got a lot of team speed, and of course, we gave them a little help with a fumble that they returned 90 yards, but there's no quit in these guys.
So what looked like it was going to be a second half taken over by some of the younger guys. Now, as you said, Keith, they have some adversity, and let's see how the Tigers will respond. Caleb Henry set to kick off.
One thing that scares you right there, after what they showed us a minute ago, you said, well, we're in a one-touchdown game, but you better watch them going for two. Don't let them get too close to us here.
Jamel Morris, Austin Sullivan, Will Miner, Dylan Boston, J.D. Williams, Norwood, Kai Cole, Micah Crunk, Ben Floyd, Jaquay Garner, Caleb Henry. That's your Deshler 11 on the kick. And it's a end-over-end kick that's fielded by Sublett at his 13-yard line. He'll bring it forward to the 25 and tries to make a cut, and Kane at the 27-yard line, and it's down there. 1st and 10, Johnson, ball at their own 28-yard line after the spot.
Okay, let's see how we come out here. And need to put a little pressure on them, and like I said, we've I guarantee you right now we've got a different respect for their team speed than we had midway through the first quarter. They get out in the open field, they can really run.
And they're the type team that only trailing by a touchdown, they're faster than they were.
You got that right. Yeah.
Trailing by 3.
A lot more pep in their step.
Yes. 1st and 10. Folks, a big offensive line for Johnson. 260, 255. The center is 275, and then 240 and 245. Here comes Evan Ferguson trying to set up the screen, and this time it's read by the Deshler Tigers. Dylan Boston, a huge hit on Sublett. He'll take it for about a 7-yard gain, however, as he just was able to spin off of that big hit by Boston and tack on some yards. It'll be 2nd down and 3 now for the Jaguars with the clock running at 1:45 left in the first half.
Still another good call, though. Middle screen on that play. Had Evan Ferguson coming off the right, coming hard. He got rid of it, and really Dylan Boston was about the only man in the picture right there, so he stopped a big play.
2nd and 3, shotgun formation, twin receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. McCray going to roll out to the left, looking, setting his feet, now rushed by May, and McCray is off and running. He's got the first down and tripped up by Jonathan Bates at midfield, so a good scramble by the quarterback, McCray, and it'll be 1st and 10 Jaguars, and boy, we can ill afford to let them get this in the end zone, folks, and then come back and get the ball to begin the third quarter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Run, clock, run. He rolled out to his left, was looking downfield. McCray was trying to get open, coming across the middle. We had a deep zone, had 4 guys behind him, so he just turned it up and ran as it approaches 1 minute left in the first half.
We all agree this is good for the Deshler Tigers, but it's still kind of frightening on Halloween. McCray going to dump it out, intended for Sullivan, incomplete. Evan Ferguson was tracking him step for step. And it's 2nd down and 10 for the Johnson Jaguars, but that stops the clock with 53 seconds to go. And in the backfield, it's Sullivan, Dion Ballou, Jonathan Bates, and Jamel Morris. And once again, not calling Jamel Morris's name, but they don't throw his way.
Yeah, and last week when they did, he's got that ability to go around the receiver. Even if he's locked up behind him, he's got that ability. He goes around him and gets his hand in and knocks the ball down.
And Johnson will take their last timeout, so I'm sure Coach was wanting to save that. But that's Johnson's last timeout. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout as well. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog.
If you find...
Well, welcome back to Howard Chapel Stadium after the Johnson Jaguar timeout. 28-21, Deshler on top. Jimmy Gardner along with Keith coach Tim Ballantyne. Glad to have Tim up and running full speed tonight with a brand new microphone from Sutherland Sight and Sound. Lane Sutherland, 381-1995. Trip receivers to the left, twin receivers to the right. McCray going up under a big rush by Boston. He's going down. Dylan Boston has the sack on McCray, the quarterback, way back at the 41-yard line. He came on the middle linebacker blitz, Keith, and was untouched.
Yeah, big hit right there. Not only did he get there, he did some damage when he did get there. Big hit, threw him down, and they're lined back up quick here.
3rd and 20. McCray going to have it across the middle of the field. It's incomplete. Had a little bit of daylight. Did the intended receiver. That was Kawami Reese, but it'll go incomplete, and now it'll be 4th and 20 with 25 seconds left. Trailing by a touchdown is Johnson. 4th and 20 at their own 40-yard line, and let's see if they elect to punt it away. And, boy, this is, if you're offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, you can hardly ill afford to punt to Dion Ballou right here with 25 seconds left in the half and risk him taking it to the house.
Yeah,
So watch for the fake. Cornelius Sublett, the tailback, he'll stand at his own 25-yard line. Remember, they had a bad snap, went over Sublett's head for a safety earlier in the game. They do seem content to punt the ball. And it's a good snap, no rush by Deshler, and it's wobbly kick off the side of his foot, and it'll go out of bounds at the 40, or right at midfield, just on the Deshler side of midfield. So 20 seconds remaining for Parker Wright, and let's see if 3 timeouts left. Let's see if Coach Jared Helms dares to go the air here with just over 20 seconds left in the half.
Well, you know, I don't really think we would have if he would have kicked about a 30-yard kick, but since he only got off a 10-yard kick, we might very well take it one shot deep here.
He is in the shotgun. Gardner and Minor to his right and left, and then Ballou and Norwood out to the right, Bates to the left, and Wright's going down. He is sacked, couldn't get off the quick hitch to Ballou, and that will most likely be the last play of the first half with your score, Deshler 28 and a resilient Johnson Jaguar team 21. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog, back after this 3-minute timeout.